So in Throne and Liberty, you have these things called weekly missions which allow you to obtain some really good rewards, at least the chance to do so. However, it's very easy to go wrong and end up basically getting no value here. So I want to give you some tips and tricks where you can potentially make upwards of thousands of Lucent just from these weekly missions. So the first thing as a new player that you might go wrong with is the fact that you can only choose one of these rewards. You reveal them all, but you can only claim one. And therefore you need to make your decision. Am I going to choose, say, this dagger or these arms, or maybe just a replacement reward? And so you need to choose wisely based on what rewards you reveal. So let's cover exactly what you should be going for, and whether or not you should simply just take the trade unlock stones. First of all, what can you actually get from there? Well, you can actually see everything. You can click the percentage and you can scroll through it. But ultimately, the majority of the stuff is not great. You're just going to use it as stepping stone stuff, which means you're generally just using it for traits. Be sure to follow a guide. There are select few pieces that are great, like these bracers, this belt. But a lot of this resistance stuff is really not what you want to be going for in terms of purple gear. You might get excited. Oh, it's shiny, it's purple. Well, I've made multiple videos and many times have explained that getting just blue gear and max trading it out is an awful lot cheaper and usually a lot more beneficial than getting some trashy purple stuff. Don't make a hasty switch just because it's purple instead of blue. Make sure you're going for the stuff with the right stats, and everything I revealed this week is actually really meh. None of it I want. So the next thing from there is to then look for gear pieces that are actually going to be able to give you good traits. So again, you'll look through here, you'll click on the piece and you'll look at the trait list. For example, this helmet cannot drop maximum hit points, so the likelihood of actually getting a good trait that would sell for a decent amount is pretty low. This belt here also can't give maximum hit points, and that's usually going to be the most expensive trait. And so you will be looking for what gear pieces, if they aren't best for your build, will give you good traits. And if they're just not any good, then you go and you might just be better off getting the trait unlock stones. You save up 100 of these trait unlock stones and you will be able to selectively choose what trait to unlock on a gear item. And that saves you the entire value of that specific item, especially if that item is really rare. These wicked thorns are not the worst to come by, and so I would be better waiting and saving these trait unlock stones for something that's more expensive. You always want to check the auction house prices. For example, if I want a duplicate of those weapons, you can see I would be spending upwards of 600 Lucent just to get the heavy attack chance. So yeah, spending the trait unlock stones can be viable, but I'm also potentially better off just keep running the dungeon and maybe I'll get it. The real deal is when that item is like a world boss drop only. Then getting these items to get duplicates, to get the trait unlocks is insanely expensive. Like these Shadow Harvester trousers, best in slot to give you that 14% extra critical damage, but absolutely insane. This is totally something you want to be spending trait unlock stones for. So getting them from the weekly missions is definitely advisable. And for me, right now, looking through all of them, it is the best way to go, especially since none of these items can actually drop good traits we want. You can see here, this is generally the best setup of traits across those slots, bar potentially using evasion instead of endurance on some particular builds. And otherwise maybe having, instead of debuff duration, an extra like endurance or evasion stat. And then also potentially having, instead of like buff duration here, attack speed, or debuff duration or move speed, you'd have another defense stat, again for PvP. But you will find, for example, skill damage boost. That trait on a ring is huge value. My general advice would be, if you can get like a necklace, a cloak, or a ring, it can be worth the gamble in order to get a good trait that actually sells. The traits on those are usually pretty highly priced. Again, like nearly 1,000 Lucent just for the necklace when it has skill damage boost. So rather than taking the gamble, because I have nothing great here, the best I could obtain is probably 250 Lucent, skill damage resistance on a belt, heavy attack on a weapon. That's not a lot, and in the end of the day, I would save so much more by having those trade unlock stones for when I need them, when I actually get a good piece. So it saves me from actually needing to get a duplicate of it. The new arch bosses will be out soon, and you bet that gear will be selling for thousands and thousands. And if you get one, you do want to be trading it out, so be sure to have those unlock stones. Overall, I hope that explains well enough your weekly missions. Choose wisely based on what you obtain, and again, you only can get one of the rewards. Have a look at the market on your own platform. It can vary. I'm on a particularly high populated server right now, so prices can be more expensive due to a lot more buyers. But yes, the majority of that purple gear is just bad. You won't be obtaining it to use it. You'll be taking the gamble and getting a good trade on it, either for your own personal use or to sell. But yeah, do not underestimate the value of trait unlock stones, especially later on in the game when you do get, say, that super good weapon drop from the arch boss, and now you're wondering, how am I going to unlock the traits for it? Because you're going to need duplicates of it to do so, or you have saved up enough trade unlock stones. So thanks all for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.